Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast, hosted by Atul Raj from thebestemailmarketer.com. On this show, Atul interviews genius minds from around the world who share real, no BS advice to help you grow your business, brand, and bank account.
A simple 5-step email system that generated $65,591 profit from an email list of 7,000 people in only 10 days. What if you have a system like this? This system sells for $97 on Gumroad, but you can have it for free if you go to thebestemailmarketer.com. Again, this system sells for $97, but you can get it for free now, only if you're quick. Visit thebestemailmarketer.com. Welcome to the Genius Talk. So, I'm your host Atul Raj, and today's guest is Jimmy Newson, also known as the Impact Influencer, and he's on a mission to save 1 billion businesses from failure by 2050. He's the founder of Moving Forward Small Business, a membership platform helping entrepreneurs grow through practical strategies. He's also featured in Forbes, Adweek, and Entrepreneur. Jimmy has trained thousands worldwide and built powerful partnerships across private, public, and non-profit sectors. And today, Jimmy will going to talk about strategic partnership.
All right. Well, I thank you, Atul, for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, man. Can you tell me how did everything started, like this partnership?
Well, at the end of the day, I think for anyone, strategic partnerships can be extremely valuable when leveraged properly. I follow a guy named Brendan Burchard, if anyone knows that name, and he talked about connecting to the super train. And what that means is you can connect with partners who have your target audience. So instead of you doing a lot of one-on-one outreach, you can do a one-to-many strategy with the right strategic partner. So It sounds very easy to do. It sounds very obvious, but there are a lot of nuances in order to do it correctly and not to come at it in such a what can look like a very selfish way, self-serving way. You want to be able to go, where's the value? Who's going to get the value? And how are we all rewarded for that value?
Yeah, of course. So,
well, go ahead. Well, and so, yeah, if we can dive a little bit deeper into that, I start with a framework called the triple win. Again, another very simple thing. The triple win is in this very exact order. The first win is for the end user, for the customer, the client, who we share a commonality with. So me and the partner, we both have to be 100% focused on the exact audience that we both serve. And when that's the case, that turns a relationship into a strategic partnership because we're both trying to serve that client, that end user. If that end user is now going to win, the second win has to be from the strategic partner that you want to partner with. How do they win? By partnering with you to serve that audience. And if you can solve those two things, then the third win should be an obvious, which would be you. And that becomes the order. And when you look at it that way, then you're always providing value. The value first to the audience member, the second value to the partner that you want to work with, and then the third part is you win. And so that way everybody wins. It serves everybody's purpose. And it's not self-serving just to you only.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what are some common mistakes businesses make when approaching potential partners?
Absolutely. They don't do their homework on the partner. They don't understand what the partner really is looking for or doing, or even who they serve. They target a partner just because they're a big organization. They're a big business. Oh, I want to work with Pepsi. I want to work with some big telecom company. And the question becomes, well, why? Well, because they're big. No, that is not the reason that they're going to want to work with you. There has to be commonality around, well, why is it important for us to come together as strategically to work together? So if you don't do your homework on them, and when I say do your homework, there are plenty of tools out there that can tell you a lot about an organization. From a tool like SEMrush, where you can understand their traffic and their content strategy. A tool like Delve.ai that will talk to you about, that if you feed in your historical data around your Google Analytics and Google Search Console, will give you an idea of the companies going to your website. And if they're going to your website, what are they looking at on your website, which could also spur a conversation. Another platform could be Crunchbase. Crunchbase reports a lot on brands that are listed on Crunchbase. It's not just about tech. So you can see things like their latest press releases. And there's gold in press releases with a bigger organization, because usually a press release now announces something that they want to achieve, something that they're doing, something they're planning on doing. So how can I align myself with what they're about to do? Because if I can lock myself in on something that they've already invested resources in, there's a better opportunity for me to get the conversation off the ground and possibly even walk out on the other side with some level of an opportunity, especially if you can align everything that you do with what they're trying to do, or what or the road that they're already on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it becomes very exciting when you're able to do that. And we do this a lot in regards to, you have to do your homework on these partners. And to step before that is, what do you consider a great strategic partner? So you have to, before you can even start reaching out to strategic partners, you really do have to define what a strategic partner really is.
Okay, yeah. Yes, otherwise we will going to waste a lot of time if they reach out to wrong people who are not a good fit.
We're not a good fit. And yes, you will waste a lot of time. But the bad part is, if in most cases they might not tell you, and it might be 6 months before you figure out you're wasting your time.
Yes.
So, so that clarity is very important. I was on a call earlier this week with someone who was talking partnership with me, and I was who I am, and I'm kind of to the point, especially because it was an introduction from someone else. So the stage had already been set. And at the end of the day, during close to the end of the conversation, he goes, "It sounds like things are more transactional for you than relationship based." And I go, "Why would you say that?" He goes, "Because you're really going into the partnership." I go, "If I had stumbled across you, then it would be a different conversation before I get into the partnership. I need to just understand who you are, what you're trying to achieve as an organization. What are your goals for the year?" I go, "We were introduced at the point where you two should work together. So now I'm on the call trying to figure out, how do we work together? Because you've already been vetted to me and me to you." And I go, and at the end of the day, I really don't want to spend 3 months trying to figure out stuff. I don't have that type of time. And I'm assuming you don't either. So let's get to business, or we reconvene when you're ready to figure out, well, how do we work together? Because so I go, so it all depends on how you're introduced to the person to determine where do we start. But at the end of the day, do not waste your time and energy on dead situations.
Yeah. But if someone don't have any network, nobody knows him, then how can he make partnership? Like, how can we find people to partner with?
Sure. And so when you say if they don't have a network, do you mean a network of people to partner with?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the research comes in. And that's where understanding, one, who you are, what is your unique value proposition, where's the value you bring, who's the audience you serve. And when you figure these 3 things out, then you reverse engineer it. You're like, all right, if I serve this audience, who else serves this audience? Big organizations can are also serving this audience. I'm talking 5 times, 10 times, even 100 times bigger than you that serves the same audience. So you have to be extremely clear on your audience. And then when you find that you make a short list of, say, 5 or 10 potentials that serve the same audience as you. Now this is where the USP comes in, the UVP, the unique value proposition. Well, what is it that they're doing that you could help, that what you provide can benefit them and help them serve that same audience? So it is it's called strategic partnership for a reason. Yeah. Because you have to think. And it's not, you just can't just jump out there and start trying to talk to the biggest organization in your community or in the country without having a plan. And they're going to be like, okay, who are you? Oh, well, my name is Bo. So why are we talking? Because so for me, I'm like, I go after organizations that support small businesses. And one of my first questions is always, they go, hey, how you doing, Jimmy? I go, what's up? And they go, so how can I help you? I go, how much do you care about the small business community? And when they go, it's everything to us. I go, great, because it is to me too. I'd love to talk to you about how we might be able to work together to support that community together. we've had great success in doing it, and I've done my research on you, and you have as well. I put together some ideas, but of course, ideas are nothing unless we can come together and figure out how do we make it a reality together. Is that something we can talk about?
Yeah.
So it's really about having your act together, understanding that audience is the key to the conversation. If I serve small business owners and you serve high net worth individuals, we don't have a strategic partnership conversation.
Yeah.
Because, and people get confused by that. Oh, well, they serve this type of audience. It's not my audience, but I think we could probably work together and create something. What you're creating is more work for either you or them, and nobody wants more stuff on their plate. They're looking for a better way to streamline their existing workflow. So you have to make it easier to go, we both serve the same audience. We're both going in the same direction. If we combine forces, we might be able to do it even faster, more efficiently, and bring more revenue to the bottom line. Can we talk? You see how the conversation is a lot easier for them to go, even if they don't say yes, it's not a no. All right, you know what? It sounds cool. What do you have in mind? You are now in the conversation. You're now in the race. But if you come up in there talking about, hey, I got this program, I know you guys don't do this and you don't really cater to this market, but I think that you should focus on the small business community, they're going to go, I'm sorry, who the hell are you? We've already got our plans. We don't need your whatever it is you're trying to bring, because that is not part of our vision, our mission, and where we're going this year. You have to be a part of their conversation, especially if you're swimming upstream.
Yeah. And how can someone manage partners? Suppose I have working with 3 partners, and I want to take more, but I don't know how to manage it.
Well, that becomes the key. The key after you get the partnership is like a sale. Most people get the sale and then they ignore the customer.
Yep.
You have to put time and energy into managing the relationship. So depending on the level of the relationship, there could be a lot of things that have to now be assigned to people, or it could be simple as us working together doing our first webinar together, which is a simple thing. So who's gonna create the assets for the page? Is it a collaborative effort, or does one of the partners have a skill in that level and the other one is responsible for something else? So the first thing is you have to do a really good job of defining the roles of the strategic partnership. Sometimes it can be done with a contract. Sometimes it can be done with a handshake. Again, it depends. But you also need a system. Like for us, I use Notion. So I have a very, very basic system where I have a lot of partnerships. So I categorize my partners, and I track every conversation that happens, at least between me and one of those partners. So I always know where we left off, and I always know where we're trying to go. So it is about it's a skill to a degree. So you have to learn, how to manage these partnerships. And I always say, if you want to have a great partner, treat them like a customer, because if someone is paying you, you're paying attention to them.
Yeah. By the way, your mission is to help 1 million businesses, right?
Say it one more time.
Your mission is to help 1 million businesses.
Yeah, that's our goal by the year 2050, is to help 1 million businesses with innovation, technology, and business strategy.
Okay, so how are you using partnership for that?
Well, our strategic partnerships are how do we reach 1 million people, business owners.
Yep.
And that's through our partnership. So I could do this one person at a time, or I can align myself with organizations that have my target audience.
Yeah.
I figure out where my value add is for that partner. I partner with that organization, and then I get a chance to be in front of that audience. And my objective is to convert that audience. This podcast is a strategic move. Is to be in front of, this podcast will be seen by people that know me, but it also will be seen by people that know you, that get introduced to me, that goes, I want to do strategic partnerships, and we have training on that. And that, again, so this is part of our strategy. So that is, these steps, going back to strategic partnerships. So I'm waiting now on a approval of a 6-part series with a SaaS partner that has over 1 million users globally. And that has taken me 2 to 3 years to get to this point. So it's sometimes the bigger the partner, the longer the process may take. And you have to be patient, and you have to pay your dues. So at that point, when I land that, now that's one strategic partner out of how many I have where you might, where I go, I could easily, if I do enough work with them over a 12-month period of time and I do a good enough job, presenting to that audience, I can take a sizable amount of that audience into my own community.
Yeah.
And I don't have to run ads. And I don't have to do this or do that. And yes, I still do those things because you have to have a multi-marketing approach, an omni-marketing approach to your overall business strategy, So I still do those things as well. But the strategic partnerships are extremely strong and, for small businesses, untapped way of getting to the finish line faster.
Yeah. And it also like hollow effect. Like his trust will come to you. His credibility will come to you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the buyer's funnel 101: awareness, consideration, decision. The moment that you're introduced to an audience through another authority, you skip awareness and you go straight to consideration.
Yeah.
And because now they're going, well, this person wouldn't even be in front of you if they weren't good at what they do. So now you can shortlist them if this is a problem you're trying to solve and move them down to decision as one of the 3 or 4 potentials that could help you solve your problem.
Yeah, Jamie. Okay, so is there anything else you would like to share?
It could be scary trying to swim upstream, but understand that every business, no matter how small they are, has something. Your job is to figure out what is the value that you bring that no other business can bring. And that sounds easier said than done, but it must be. You have to think about it. And it doesn't have to be groundbreaking. It doesn't have to be the most innovative thing you've ever heard. It could be a combination of the way that you treat your customers and the way that the next 7 steps that they go through that you see that your competitors miss. So competitive analysis becomes a key component here to understand if they went to my competitor, what is it that my competitor does that they hate, or what is it that my competitor doesn't do that they would like? I integrate that into my system. That alone could be a unique selling proposition, a unique value proposition. So it's not difficult. You just got to go, what is it about me that people like? And if you want to get to it quickly, hopefully if you have customers, ask them, why did you choose to work with me over them? And you'll be surprised. They're going to tell you differently than why you thought they chose you. And if you hear that message enough by asking 3 or 4 different clients, you're going to see a pattern. You're going to go, never really thought about that. Never really understood that was why people were choosing me. That's a unique value or selling proposition. So get that down and then run with that as you build out. So when people go, well, why should we work with you? You tell them, this is why people choose to work with me. I hope this is valuable enough for you to also want to work with me.
Okay. So for all the listeners, if they want to reach out to you, where can they go?
Yeah, they can go to movingforwardsmallbusiness.com. You can look me up on LinkedIn or even Google or any of your favorite AI search platforms. I'm a digital marketing SEO guy as well as a strategist. So look me up, Jimmy Newson. Go to our site, Moving Forward Small Business. Check out our community. All the stuff that I talked to you about today, we teach this stuff. Because just because I tell you doesn't mean you know where to start first. So we built training programs that give you those step-by-steps.
And I will also put the website of Jamie on the description.
Fantastic. Well, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Jamie, for all the things you have shared with us. And it was a great meeting with you.
Well, it was a pleasure being here. Thank you for inviting me once again.
A simple 5-step email system that generated $65,591 profit from an email list of 7,000 people in only 10 days. With no ads, no funnel, no webinar, no sales call, and no sales pitch. What if you have a system like this? This system sells for $97 on Gumroad, but you can have it for free if you go to thebestemailmarketer.com. Again, this system sells for $97, but you can get it for free now, only if you're quick. Visit thebestemailmarketer.com